A bride's wedding dress got caught and torn in a car door at a Four Seasons. But nobody panicked, and nobody had to call a manager. Housekeeping looked at it once and made the call themselves. Sent her to the spa, and by the time she came back, the dress was mended. She never noticed a single stitch. Stop and think about that for a second. Nobody approved that. Not a line in a policy binder, not a manager signing off. One person in the moment decided what a guest needed and did it. No form, no hold time, no let me check with someone. That's Four Seasons, one of the most recognized luxury hotel brands in the world. Over 120 properties, more than 40 countries, started in 1960 by a Canadian named Isidore Sharp, with one motel in Toronto, nothing close to the size it is now. Sharp ran the entire company on one idea, and it's so simple you've heard a version of it 1,000 times. Treat your employees the way you want them to treat your guests, not a poster in the break room, an actual operating rule. The thing that decides who gets hired, who gets promoted, what gets forgiven. And here's the thing that matters for you. That rule is why a housekeeper nobody's ever heard of at a property Sharp himself has probably never set foot in can make that exact call with nobody standing over her telling her it's allowed. You're probably expecting me to tell you the dollar figure. Some hotels famously give staff a specific number, $2,000. Spend it however you need to. Four Seasons doesn't have one of those. Nothing published, nothing you could look up, and that's not a gap in their policy. We'll come back to why that's actually the entire point. Here's the problem with most small businesses that say they care about the customer. The caring lives at the top, only at the top. You're the one who approves the discount. You're the one who says yes to the redo. You're the one who has to be reached before anyone under you is allowed to fix anything. Which means the second something actually breaks, the fix has to wait for you to pick up your phone. It doesn't matter what you run. It could be a plumbing company, physio clinic, law office, same shape every single time. Client hits a problem, the person standing in front of them can see exactly what needs to happen and still has to go get permission before they're allowed to do it. Here's the part that makes it worse. In the moment, a customer is upset. Waiting is the one thing they will not forgive. They'll forgive a mistake every time, but they won't forgive being told to hold on while someone finds out if they're even allowed to help. Think about the last time you got burned as a customer somewhere. Flight got delayed, order came wrong, service didn't hold up. The thing that actually made you angry wasn't the mistake. It was watching the person in front of you shrug and say, "There's nothing I can do. You'd have to call corporate." That sentence is the moment a business loses you, not the mistake. Every business has employees saying some version of that sentence multiple times a week, and the owner never hears it happen. You'll never hear it either. The employee's not coming to find you after and saying, "Hey, I told the client there was nothing I could do." They just move on, and the client stops calling. No explanation given. That bottleneck doesn't show up as a complaint on your desk. It shows up as a slow leak in a repeat business you can never trace back to the cause. Picture your best technician standing in a customer's kitchen. Something's not right. A part failed maybe. The first visit didn't fully fix it. He knows exactly what needs to happen. A $40 part, an hour of labor, done, but he can't say yes. Part in one hand, phone in the other, waiting for you to pick up. You're on another job or in a meeting or your phone's face down on the counter. 10 minutes pass, 15. The whole time, the customer isn't thinking about the part. She's thinking about the fact that the person standing in her kitchen can't make a decision without someone who isn't even in the room. Run the same scene through a clinic. Appointment ran long, patient's frustrated, and the front desk knows exactly the right move. Comp the visit or bump her to the front of tomorrow's list. But they can't. The owner's not in yet. Now she's not annoyed about the wait. She's annoyed that a 15-second decision needs someone who isn't even there. Run that scenario through a professional services office. Client gets billed for a call that should have been a courtesy follow-up. The account manager knows it should be waived, but invoicing isn't her call. By the time you call back and say, "Yeah, take care of it," the damage was already done. The damage was never the wiring, the schedule, or the $10 line item. It was that the customer knows exactly how your business runs when something breaks. Slowly. And only with your permission. That's the actual difference between Four Seasons and almost everyone else. Not that nothing ever goes wrong. Dresses get torn, rooms get overbooked, things break there, same as anywhere. The difference is who's allowed to fix it and how fast. Here's the part that's easy to miss. Four Seasons didn't get lucky with one thoughtful employee. This shows up over and over. Different hotels, different countries, staff who've never even met each other, making the same call. That's not one person's good instinct. That's a company that decided the front line gets trusted by default, not by exception. Most businesses do the opposite without ever meaning to. Trust is the exception. Something an employee earns after years, after proving themselves, after enough time that you finally stop double checking, which means for years, every new hire is handed a job and stripped of the authority to actually do it well. Remember the dollar figure I told you doesn't exist? Here's why not. The mechanism is simpler and harder than a number. Leadership extends trust first before it's earned and says so out loud. Sharp modeled it from the top down, so it became the assumption everyone below him, not a rule anyone had to look up. A number is something you can ignore, and nobody notices. An assumption modeled by the person at the top is something everyone underneath has to live up to. Here's the objection, and it's a fair one. Handing that authority over feels like giving up control. What if someone gives away too much? What if they comp things that never needed comping? What if they just get it wrong? Sometimes they will. Now weigh that against the alternative. Every single customer problem in your business funneled through one person who cannot possibly be reachable every time something goes sideways. You're not protecting your business by holding on to that authority. You're capping how fast it can earn trust back. And the fear usually doesn't match reality. Most employees, given real authority and a clear boundary, get more careful, not less. Because now the decision is actually theirs, not something they can shrug off onto a manager who wasn't even in the room. The rare person who abuses it was probably going to be a problem employee regardless. Don't build your entire system around the exception. The businesses that feel premium aren't the ones where nothing ever breaks. They're the ones where the break gets handled before the customer even has time to get angry about it. Before you decide what your version looks like, find where the bottleneck actually exists in your business right now. It's rarely just one place. Refunds and redos. Does anyone besides you have the authority to say yes to a redo on the spot, or does every single one of them wait for your sign-off? Mid-job problems. Technician, stylist, contractor hits something unexpected mid-appointment. Real answer, or do they stall the client while they text you? Billing disputes. Client questions a charge. Does whoever answers the phone have room to waive it? Or is "let me check with billing" the only sentence they're allowed to say? Scheduling conflicts. You're running late, overbooked. Can the front desk make it right on their own? A discount? A priority slot? Anything? Or does that sit with you too? Wherever you nodded, that's your bottleneck. That's exactly where this next part applies. Here's the one thing, just one. Steal the actual Four Seasons mechanism. Extend trust before it's earned and say it out loud. That's two moves, not one. Give your front line a make-it-right authority level as move one, the trust. Pick the on-ramp that's actually true for how your business runs. Option one, if money's the lever, a dollar cap. Anyone facing a customer can spend up to a set number. No approval needed to make a problem disappear on the spot. And then there's option two. If you're not ready to hand over open-ended spending, a pre-approved list, that's the answer. 3 or 4 fixes that are always a yes. Redo the job first for free, comp a percentage, throw in something extra. Nobody invents the response in the moment. They just pick off the list. Option 3. If you want to start smaller than money entirely, one line, repeatable by anyone on your team. If it costs less than losing the client, just fix it. Move 2 is the one most owners skip. Say it out loud to your team. Don't just decide it in your head. That's the actual sharp mechanism, not the dollar cap, not the pre-approved list. The fact that it got said out loud until it became the assumption. Authority that only lives in the owner's mind isn't authority. It's a guess your employees are making about what you'd probably allow. Tell them directly. Put it in the group chat. Say it at the next team meeting. Here's what you're allowed to do without me. Go do it. Pick the one that made you wince a little. That's the one you've been avoiding. That's almost always the one your business actually needs. But don't skip move 2 for move 1. A dollar cap nobody's been told about isn't a system. It's a secret. A torn wedding dress isn't a 5-star problem, it's a human one. Every business has a version of it happening this week, somewhere where you're not standing. The only question worth asking is, does this person who's standing there get to fix it, or do they have to wait for me? Notice what actually built the trust in that story. Nobody at the hotel wrote a press release about it. The customer didn't even need to be told there was a problem in the first place. It was handled before she had the chance to even worry about it. Trust extended before it was earned, said out loud, long before that dress ever got torn. That's the whole mechanism working exactly as intended. She never noticed a single stitch. That's the version of premium worth building toward. Not the one people talk about because you told them to, the one they talk about because it happened to them.